Alright mga kababayan ko, no, it's a bad news for this afternoon mga kapatid. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga tropa natin. Ako, nako, hindi ko akalain na akala ko kahapon si ano lang, si Ka Eric Celis lang ang nakontempt. Ito pa pala mga kababayan ko dahil nakontempt din po pala ito si Doktora Lorraine Badoy. Diyos ko, eh, medyo ano to medyo crucial para sa akin to kasi I can't imagine ba't si Doktora pati kinontempt. Kung si Ka Eric lang sana. Kasi si Ka Eric yung talagang may hardest issue eh. But the Congress, mga kababayan ko, dinidikdik po itong dalawa ngayon. So ito, papanoorin lang natin mga kapatid Ito, panoorin lang natin yung kahapon ito. Ito yung continuation kung paano na-contempt si Doktora Badoy. Ito, panoorin natin. Ito siya. Saglit mga kababayan inaayos ko yung audio natin. Saglit.
Tax sa mga empleyado nyo, lang gumawa.
That's very careful.
Ito yung part na
Philippine Deposit.
And Section 11.
Lang gumawa yan.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
The program.
ito siya.
Yung
Wait.
kasi yung
Nagulat ako dito eh.
Action against the CP.
Dan ang Nika.
Ito. Para mapanood nyo po kasi baka mamaya hindi nyo po alam. Hindi nyo po nakikita. Kahit ako na-shock Sabi ko, bakit nakakulong to? Bakit nasama to kay Ka Eric? We don't know the reason pero malalim to Diyos ko. Naawa naman tuloy ako kala Doktora Badoy. Damay tuloy si Doktora.
Ang AFP, ang PNP, ang NSC. So, it's highly intelligence-driven, Mr. Chair.
Pero yun pa man, kahit na medyo mabigat ang naging
Yes.
findings ninyo, walang naging aksyon pagdating sa pagsampa ng cases. Kasi yun ang tanong ko earlier.
Yes.
Nagkaroon ba ng pagsampa ng cases? Criminal case on sedition,
Yes,
halimbawa.
yes.
Wala pong naging ganun.
Wala po, Mr. Chair, but may I please elaborate a little bit kasi very complicated yung structural organization ng CPP, NPA, NDF na kung saan may mga above grounds at saka below ground, no? So, underground, I'm sorry. So, habang hinihintay natin yung proscription, yung pag-declare sa kanila na terrorist organization sila, tuloy-tuloy silang nakakatago sa mga maskara nila, no? Like Anak Bayan, LFS, Kabataan, Bayan.
Oo nga, tama ka dyan, Doktora. Bakit si Franz Castro hindi nyo pa imbestigahan? Sana para patas pati si Franz, yung mga sangkot din dyan.
Muna Gabriela, Alliance of Concerned Teachers. So, hindi po pwedeng mag-file ng cases na ganun-ganun lang sa Vice President. So, sa amin po, ang gusto namin kasi matigil na yung recruitment kasi napakaraming mga bata na namatay. Just recently ulit, meron sa UP Los Baños, etc. So, yun yung priority na yung mga anak natin ay wag nang ma-recruit at mamatay bilang NPA. So, yun yung prioritize, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So last na lang po.
The Honorable Kimbo.
Last na po. So, itong isasubmit ninyo na documentary evidence dito sa amin, sa tingin ninyo ay hindi makakatayo as evidence sa court. Parang ganun po.
I'm not a lawyer, Mr. Chair, so I really wouldn't know. But these are judicial, some of them are judicial affidavits, Mr. Chair, from former rebels.
We will just await the submissions, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
Mr. Chair.
And that will be
yes.
all.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Mr.
much,
Chair.
the Honorable Stella Kimbo of the Second District of Marikina City. Now we will call on
Mr. Chair.
the Honorable Romy Ako of Antipolo City.
Yeah, I would just like to follow up before I go to Attorney Suplico, who must earn his keep today, being the legal counsel of Suarasog. Madam Badoy, in September 23, 2022, you accused Manila RTC Judge Malagar of lawyering for the CPP NPA and tagged the said judge as a friend and true ally of the communist groups. Would that be correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's correct.
And because of that, you were cited in contempt by the Supreme Court of the Republic of the Philippines.
That's not correct, Mr. Chair.
Ano po ang tama?
Ang tama po, Mr. Chair, ay yung mga prente ng CPP, NPA, NDF, katulad ng NUPL, ay gumawa ng paraan para umabot sa Supreme Court. Yung isinulat ko na opinion ko na si Judge Malagar who penned na hindi daw teroristang organisasyon ang CPP, NPA, NDF. So, andun pa po siya, Mr. Chair, na it's still being heard, Mr. Chair.
Yes, madam. Would you agree with me if I say na just because of your passion against the CPP, NPA, sumusobra na po kayo sa action ninyo, red tagging even members of Congress, even the mayor of Baguio City?
Mr.
Please proceed.
Mr.
You
Chair,
have the
so,
floor.
yeah, Mr. Chair, yung red tagging po, hindi po totoo yan. Ang mga korte na natin mismo ang nagsabi na there is no danger to life, liberty, and security when you're identified as a member of the CPP, NPA, NDF. And in fact, what has endangered our children and our indigenous peoples, and when we're not able to identify the CPP behind all those masks, Mr. Chair.
Kailan ka ba nagkaroon ng passion against the CPP, NPA?
Mr. Chair, nung ako po ay naging naging head po ako ng Strategic Communications Cluster ng NTF-ELCAC, galing po akong UP Diliman at isa po akong medyo radicalized at marami akong pinaniwalaan na mali, at nung nakita ko, bumababa ako on the ground and I met the victims, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
when was that? When was that?
That was 2008, December 2018, Mr. Chair.
2018.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I understand your point of view, pero sasabihin ko sa iyo, ako, since 1970, kalaban ko na nga sila eh. Hanggang ako'y mag-retire, nandiyan pa rin sila. So, do you think yung ginagawa po ninyo na ganito is in accordance with our laws, rules, and regulations?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for that wonderful question again. When I stepped out of office, Mr. Chair, there was an independent study by the DND about which ano yung factor bakit napaka-successful ng NTF-ELCAC, at yung nangyari dito yung finding, independent study siya, ay yung Strategic Communications Cluster, na ibig sabihin napakahalaga ng information sa ating mga kababayan. Kasi po, sir, ang nangyari doon.
With your indulgence, madam, ang tanong ko lang po is whether you think sa sarili mo ay in accordance with laws, rules, and regulations yung ginagawa po ninyo. Yun lang po ang katanungan ko. Pakisagot lang po yun.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Ang sagot ko po, oo.
Yes. Even when you are no longer connected with NTF-ELCAC.
Yes, Mr. Chair, because this is a whole of nation approach.
If I ask you to explain the whole of nation approach in all its branches, baka hindi mo masagot. Kaya huwag kang mag-mention ng mga terminologies na 2018 mo lang narinig. Samantalang kami, tinyente pa lang kami, naririnig na namin yan. Okay? Now,
Pwedeng mag-comment, Mr. Chair. pwedeng mag-comment.
No, I
Okay.
don't think he's asking
Okay,
you to
okay, Mr.
reply
Chair.
to that.
But
Yes.
Unless,
could I
should I
respond?
what?
Could I
Sandali lang po.
respond just
Sandali lang
to,
po. Ano po mga ano, kaya nyo ba paliwanag yung kakasabi nyo lang? Kasi kaya nyo paliwanag yun?
kasi po Mr. Chair,
Ma'am? Opo.
yun nga yung isa sa driving forces sa akin, Mr. Chair, na napakaraming PNP at saka AFP ang namatay dahil sa CPP at PANDF. So tama po si Congressman Acop. Napakatagal na po nito.
Salamat. The Honorable Ako.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll not belabor the point. I will go now to Attorney Rolex Soplico.
Yes, sir.
Attorney Rolex, in your answers to the queries of the Honorable Nograles, napansin ko, dadalawa lang yung depensa na ginagamit mo eh. Number one, yung letter na sinasabi po nyo dated June 30, 2022. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Was this a separate letter for you to ask, according to you, to ask question from the committee? Or this was part of your annual report?
Well, I think it's a separate letter, Your Honor.
No. May I ask COMSEC if this was a separate letter or part of the report submitted by Suarasug?
The Honorable, Attorney Marvick.
Your Honors, the letter referred to by Attorney Suplico and Smni is part of the documents submitted to the committee as their annual report for 2020.
So per record, Attorney Suplico, this is not a separate letter for you to ask guidance. It was part of your annual report.
Well,
Would you agree now?
Well, I accept.
Yes.
May error, Your Honor.
Number two, I have read your letter. I have it in my hand. Nowhere did you ask any question from the committee. Nowhere. I cannot see you asking a question to the committee. Now, may I know, can you point out to me any part of your letter which you have mentioned? Did you ask any question or any guidance from this committee regarding your franchise?
Actually, Your Honor, there was another letter sent to the SEC. However, it was shown
No,
to
no,
me.
no, no. We're
No.
talking
On
about
that
your
particular letter.
communications with this committee. That is the purview of my queries this afternoon, attorney.
Okay, I take responsibility, Your Honor, if ever.
So in
The
other
request
words,
is not-
you are
is not-
admitting that there is no question here.
Well, Your Honor,
If you want, you can read it.
what it was explained to me that there was a request and we should wait for the response.
And
No.
I know who told you that.
Well, members of our staff in the.
Niloko ka ng staff mo.
We can give him a copy of the letter, then you can read it yourself. I mean, you're the one who
Well, I
furnishes the copy.
I'm sorry. I take the word the gentleman who is my upperclassman as true, Your
That there
Honor.
was no question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes.
He's an honorable person and I respect him for that.
Thank you, attorney. So in other words, wala po kayong guidance na hiniling sa committee. That is your first defense. Kanina pa dun sa mga tanong ni the Honorable Migs Nograles. So I'm just debunking your defense, Tony. The second defense is that it is also contained in your letter. Binasa ko that you were telling this the committee in your report that like other franchises, dapat mabigyan din kayo ng privilege na yon. Am I correct?
That is correct, Your Honor, because in the franchises of others, there is that particular stipulation on the resort to cooperatives, which a phrase is not found in the franchise of SMNI.
Are you trying to tell this committee na when this Congress would approve the grant of franchises, pare-parehas ang wording? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, iba-iba. Different franchise,
Bill
different,
drafting,
di ba? Dito sa sulat mo, sinabi mo, Republic Act number 10637. an act granting Cotabato Light and Power Company. It's a different franchise with Suarasog. So why would you compare a pig to a cow? When in fact, Congress takes cognizance of each and every individual application for the grant of franchise.
I thought that the provision on
May-
this,
You thought?
yes, Your Honor.
You
I
thought
think
it
that
thought-
the,
ano?
Mr.
You thought?
Mr. Chairman, the provision on the dispersal of ownership applies to all public utilities, which are franchise grantees.
That
They
is your
could be-
assumption.
They could be worded in a different manner. And bill drafting with respect to franchises have evolved so far. And the phrase resort to cooperatives appear in some of the franchises granted by this committee.
I agree. But will you accept that every franchise application is different from other applications for franchise?
I accept, Your Honor.
Yes. And therefore, you cannot compare a cow with a pig or a carabao with a bird. Tama?
I beg to differ, Your Honor, because of the policy on the dispersal of ownership.
Look, are you trying to tell me that the provision on the dispersal of ownership in your franchise is exactly the same as Republic Act number 10637, 10753?
No, Your Honor. Ours is a broadcast franchise. The others are TU franchises, distribution utility franchises.
Therefore, your argument here is not accepted. Why? Because you are claiming na dapat meron din kayong establishment of cooperatives phrase sa inyong franchise, which Congress did not intend to do so. Otherwise, it would have placed that phrase there if that is the intent of Congress. Tama?
Well, Your Honor, I will
Hindi,
espouse.
tinatanong kita, tama ba?
No, Your Honor, I will
You've
espouse a
been-
different
you've
view, but
been-
I respect the gentleman for it.
You have been a part of this Congress.
For 9 years, Your Honor.
Yes. At alam mo naman na kung gumagawa tayo ng batas, the legislative intent is paramount.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And therefore, if it is not placed there by the Congress, it is not the intent of Congress for you to avail of that provision or phrase. Tama?
But we thought, Your Honor, that
Tama?
this committee could elucidate on the
Tama.
requirement of cooperatives.
Tama? Hindi mo
I think-
sinasagot yung tanong
Well,
ko.
on the, maybe, Your Honor, on the statutory construction principle of verba leges, yes, Your Honor, you may be right.
Yes. Kasi iba-iba ang trato ng Kongreso sa bawat individual application ng franchise. And I think you know that. They were just arguing like the defense counsel that I expected to.
Well-
Di ba?
I have no other choice, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ako. Thank you very much. Before we continue, the chair would like to recognize the Honorable Benvenido Abante Jr. of the 6th District of Manila. Welcome, sir. Another media practitioner. Hindi lang po congressman yan, media practitioner, pastor pa, kaya lahat. Kayang-kaya niya. Okay? Yan po ang bishop namin dito sa Congress.
Hindi pa rin nagbabago.
Okay, so the chair now recognizes the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maraming salamat sa mga resource speakers natin who have been here. May lindol man at wala, kasama po namin kayo. Maraming po salamat. At siguro, I just wanted to augment yung mga position that was mentioned a while ago by Congresswoman Migs Nograles saka kay Congresswoman Stella Kimbo and briefly by Congressman Ako. But make no mistake, the reason why we are tackling itong ating pong mga franchise, hindi lang naman po kayo, but we are also reviewing the franchise of Meralco and GCP and different public utilities. Ito po yung aming pong trabaho. So much so that you are also depending yung sa SMNI. Anyway, dun po sa kanina tinanong nila Migs Kimbo, I just wanted to take the position about dun sa beneficial owner. Kasi kanina nang when you were asked, hindi ata na itanong manifestation lamang ni Stella, ni Congresswoman Stella yung about sa beneficial owner. Kasi dun sa GIS nyo, Actually, we have a lot of documents pertaining to the requirements of Section 12, no, sa reportorial requirement, which yun din po mga nire-require namin sa lahat ng prangkisa. Dito po sa Section 10, with regards dito po sa
Good afternoon, everyone. Of course, we are overwhelmed this afternoon by the information yielded by the interpellation of our distinguished colleagues. While we accord due respect to our good lawyers here, of course, it is for us, the members of the committee, to appreciate this information. Mr. Chair, I just wish to raise the following observation. First, Attorney Suplico raised as a defense the submission of annual report. May I invite the attention of the committee to Section 12 of RA 11422. I wish to expound on the intent of this provision. Section 12 provides for the general rule, which means with or without transfer of controlling interest or any sale perhaps, it is the obligation of the grantee to submit annual report. That is the intention and meaning of Section 12. In other words, the exception to that is Section 10 and Section 11, which specifically provides that if there is a transfer of controlling interest or any transfer perhaps, there must be a prior consent of the Congress or that the Congress shall be informed of the same. I wish to invite the attention of the committee on the use of the word shall. This gives an impression that the provision is not permissive. Instead, this is mandatory. Third, the good lawyers also raised Cotabato Light, Broadcast Media, East Broadcasting, which were able to disperse the 30% by resorting to a cooperative. Let me invite the attention as well of the committee to their respective legislative franchise. RA 10637, that is for Cotabato Light.
Hindi naman kayo Philippine National Police. O, mga broadcaster din kayo. Dapat totoo ang sinasabi nyo dito. At dito rin sa committee ito, totoo dapat ang sinasabi ninyo. The fact that you accuse me of being a cadre of the communists, there's an evidence about that, Mr. Chair. That is what I would like to say. And I am a witness because I am also a victim. If there's any congressman here who is with the majority, who is the victim of your fake news, it is Benny Abante, a good friend and not roommate of Attorney Suplico.
Mr. Chair, may I respond?
Thank you
please?
very much, Honorable Abante. Yes, Mr. Rain.
Yeah. How do I say this? Mr. Chair, unang-una sa lahat, humihingi ako ng paumanhin kay Congressman Abante. Hindi po ganun yung intent na manakit. Hindi po yon. Ang intent talaga dito, tapusin na yung CPP, NPA, NDF. Napakatagal na. Ito na yung pinakamatagal na insurgency sa buong mundo. So,
Akin lang napag-uusapan natin yan. Alam nyo, marami rin naman na issues regarding, hindi lang naman ng insurgency yung pinag-uusapan din. Alam nyo, sa totoo lang, meron pa dyan meron pa sa Congress nga lang eh. 'Di ba? Sa Congress. Ang tataka lang ako, andyan yung mga makakaliwang grupo, pero hindi nalilitis, 'di ba? Pero ang nalulungkot ako dito because Dr. Badoy nadamay dito sa issue ni Ka Eric, 'di ba? Because isa punto na naman yun ang nangyayari. Meron o wala ba talagang talagang o gustong it's either nagsasabi ng totoo si Ka Eric o hindi nagsasabi ng totoo si Ka Eric. Yun lang naman ang punto dito. But suddenly, mga kababayan ko, damay itong mga malalaking anchor ng SMNI. Now, mga kapatid, napapansin ko dito, if pwersahin nyo at i-issue nyo ang Congress, babakbakan kayo ng Congress. Yun ang mangyayari dito. But in my own term, mga kababayan ko, mahirap kasi sabihin na mahirap kasi sabihin na eto mga taga-Congress ganito ganyan, ito mga taga may mga ginagawang mali na ganito. Nang hirap sabihin, pero para sa akin, mga kababayan ko, sana sabihin na lang ni Ka Eric eto na kung sino talaga, kasi kung talagang hindi mo sasabihin, didigdigin ka dito. Mga ganun, mga kababayan, kasi gagamitin niya yung Sotolo. Ang problema doon sa Sotolo, may butas pa rin naman yun. Kaya, pwede sila ipa-contempt. Yan ang kapalit nun.
So, I want to respond also to Congressman Abante when he used the word red tagging because there is no such thing. This is
Anyway, Sir Gilbert Sanchez, please wag mong murahin si Attorney Lorraine Badoy kasi unang-una, wala kang karapatang murahin yung tao, ha? Sa comment section.
that word was made up by the CPP, NPA, NDF.
I am also disagree sa magpapakulong sa kanya. Pero ang akin dito, they are fighting for insurgency sa bansa natin eh. Totoo yung sinasabi ni Lorraine Badoy, but the chismis neto ni Ka Eric ang nagkakaproblema, okay? Okay? Yan lang gusto ko sabihin sa inyo.
And it is a tool that they use to silence those of us who speak the truth about them. And in fact, our courts, all the way up to the Supreme Court, have already ruled very clearly that there is no danger to life, liberty, and security when you're identified as a member of the CPP, NPA. And if pwede po kong ibigay yung dokumento na yun po, Mr. Chair, yung mga rulings ng Court of Appeals, ng Regional Trial Court, kasi nga po sa unang sinabi ko, sa laban na ito, niyakap na namin ang mga banta, ang mga kaso para patahimikin kami. Pero hindi po namin intent ang
The
saktan.
Honorable Benny Abante has the floor.
Okay.
Ako'y nagpapasalamat siya nag-apologize dito. Pero ang gusto kong marinig dito, Mr. Chair, is this. What you did and what you are doing is offensive and deliberate, and that you have endangered even my own life. You have. And you are hiding the cloak of the powers that be.
Mr. Chair, can I?
May I respond?
Yes. Attorney,
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Rain, may tanong po ako.
I am not
May state,
angry.
yes.
I am just dynamic and passionate and ecstatic in saying this.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Benny Abante. I noticed that, especially when you took, you made reference to Rolex, Attorney Rolex being a roommate. I know how passionate you were of the Honorable Fernandez. But you know,
Yes,
I have a
I am not a
question.
roommate,
Yes,
Mr.
you were
Chair. I
not.
do
Yeah.
not know the meaning of the word roommate, but
Okay,
he's a very good friend.
okay.
Ang mahirap, Mr. Chair,
Ano
may
wala?
relationship na binanggit si Juan, si
Yeah.
Dan Fernandez.
Correct. Yun ang medyo,
Yun ang question ko.
yeah, yun ang gusto ko malaman.
Sir Chairman, may I reply?
Gusto nyo na po mahinto yung CPP, NPA-NDF controversy at yung kanilang rule. Kaya anong koneksyon ng sabihin nyo na si Kong Abante ay cuddler sa kagustuhan yung ihinto na yan? Anong relasyon? May I know?
So sir, ang turo sa amin ng mga former cadres na kung kaya't pinaniniwalaan namin ay dati silang kasapi ng organisasyon na ito at mga matataas na ranggo sila. Kasama dito ang security cluster, intelligence cluster, AFP, PNP. So bakit namin sinasabi na why do we need to name yung mga kaibigan ng CPP, NPA, NDF? Kasi po doon tayo nasaktan yung pag-co-op nila pag-co-op nila ng mga, minsan pa nga maraming beses inosente. As I said earlier, ako graduate ng UP, ganun din ako, sir. Matagal akong nagde-defend sa kanila
Opo.
kasi magaling
Okay,
sila.
so
Yeah.
ano nga? Ano ang relasyon? How do you end it? By making an accusation
No.
and now the Honorable Abante is categorically saying he is not.
No, sir.
And it is, then how do you end something like that? Every time na may marinig ka, you will make that blatant accusation?
No, sir. Very, very important when you name and when you identify that you stand on solid ground. Pag sinabi mo na ito ay miyembro ng CPP, NPA, NDF, how
No.
to answer your question, how do we end?
Yeah,
does that end?
by saying that Congressman Abante is a cuddler. That was
Mr.
said, and your
Mr.
first
Chair.
response was you want to end it, that's why you had to
Yeah.
do it.
Mr.
My
Chair,
question, I cannot see the relationship of that
I-
statement. How does that work?
Mr.
How do-
Chair,
how do-
can I
how do-
just say something here
Yes.
before you would
Yeah.
answer? Because of your accusation, no? Anong sabi ni Pastor Apollo Quiboloy sa akin? Ito, ikundinya nga ninyo ang gawa ng CPP, NPA, NDF. Ito na ang gawa ng NPA na armed group. Pag hindi ninyo makundina yan, Mayor Magalong at Congressman Abante, hindi red tagging ito. Kasabwat kayo at nagtaksil kayo sa taong bayan. Now, tanong, saan nakuha ni Pastor Paulo Quiboloy? Saan niya nakuha? Sa inyo.
Pwede ko pong sagutin, Mr.
Yes,
Chair. So,
please. That's a good question. Yes.
yes,
Mr.
it's a
Ray.
very good question. So, Mr. Chair, ang sagot po doon, ang tinuro sa amin ng mga kadre, mga dating kasapi dyan, parang gold standard ng CPP, NPA, NDF yung magkondena kasi bawal sa kanilang konstitusyon yon. So, gold standard yon para ma-identify mo. So, to move forward to Congressman Abante's question, bakit, anong koneksyon niya dito, di ba? Anong koneksyon niya? So, ang turo sa amin, kaya ito tumagal kasi co-opted. Hindi mo alam na you are already defending and aligning with the CPP, NPA, NDF, and how it ends is at the end of it all kasi, Mr. Chair, is propaganda to recruit our children. Yes, sir. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yung sinabi nyo, binitawan yung salta, tapos hindi po tama.
Okay.
Hindi ba ho nakakaawa yung naakusan?
Yeah. Mr. Chair, can I answer?
Yes, please.
Can I answer? So, ang pag
Ito dagdag ko lang Dagdag ko lang sa atin to mga kababayan ko. No. Bakit si Pangulong Duterte? Di ba mga kababayan, bakit si Pangulong Duterte sinuportahan din naman sa Davao ang CPP-NPA during that time, mga kababayan ko? Bakit dito sa mga congressmen natin, nagugulat lang ako. May mga programa sila na balik loob sa ating government, tinutulungan. Pero not totally na ang ayoko lang kasi dito rin sa minsan yung red tagging na ginagawa. Kasi syempre, minsan nawawala sa alignment eh. Ang dapat na nire-red tag natin is yung mga talagang literal na nasa bundok at recruiter. Pero yung mga congressman, tingnan nyo muna kung bago nyo bitawan yung isang salita. Kaya ito yung pinupunto ni Congressman Abante ngayon. Now, ngayon, magigisa ngayon dito si Dr. Lorraine Badoy dahil sa binitawan nila ng mga salita. Lalo na yung sinabi ni Pastor Apollo na mabigat-bigat din yun. Accusement na talaga. Tapos, ito ang masakit dito. Si SMNI, walang protection sa kanyang mga angkor. Ayan. Papasok tayo dyan.
pagkakaalala ko, hindi ko alam masyado yung details ngayon, pero ang pagkakaalala ko, yung kung bakit nasabi yon tungkol kay Congressman Benny Abante ay dahil merong final na bill ang CPP, NPA, NDF party list at isa siya sa nag-co-author. So ang turo sa amin, ang turo sa amin ng mga kadre at saka ng intelligence sector, mga AFP, PNP, ito yung kung bakit tumatagal na nagagamit yung mga totoong kongresista natin, yung mga totoong nagmamahal sa bayan as cover.
Pwede ko malaman, sino po ang kongresista nag-file ng bill na gano'n at nag-co-author siya? Are you referring to any block in Congress?
The Makabayan Block, Mr. Chair, that is the official stand of the NTF-ELCAC, that the Makabayan Block is a front of the CPP, NPA, NDF. Official stand.
Anong
po
bill
yan.
po yun, Mr. Chair?
Ano pong bill yun?
Po.
Ano pong bill? Nag-co-author
which
po siya. Sabi
Ah,
niyo
Mr.
nag-co-author po siya, kaya
Oo.
niyo inakusan. Ano pong bill yun?
Mr. Chair, pwede bang, yun yung hindi ko nga maalala, Mr. Chair. So kung pwede ba, sa next meeting,
Okay.
sa next hearing,
Sige
dadalhin ko po, Mr.
Yan
Chair.
po itatanungin po natin, ha?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Salamat po sa inyo.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay. Sa sunod na hearing. Okay. The Honorable Paduano is, Honorable Paduano, sige po, kayo po muna magtanong bago si Congresswoman Stella Kimbo.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, unahin ko lang, no, bago ko balikan si Madam Badoy, with regards to the issue that was raised by Congressman Abante, kasi medyo may exigency to, Mr. Chairman, because the committee will maybe rule, no, on the franchise of SMNI. Now, dun sa NTC, MTRCB, tsaka sa KBP. KBP muna po. KBP, they withdraw their membership as just today. Tama?
We are informed of that. I was informed just this morning.
Okay, they withdraw.
We were informed that they withdrew.
Okay. Now, but there is a pending case. There is a pending complaint with the KBP with regards to SMNI.
We received a copy of the complaint this morning also.
This morning also. Now, ako lang, Mr. Chairman, KBP, tsaka, kasi, Mr. Chairman, the alleged violation or complaint was filed on the period that SMNI is still accredited with member of the KBP. So, yung withdrawal ng KBP, actually, will not, with the SMNI with KBP, will not hold water with regards to this investigation. Now, kasi ang alleged violation or complaint was filed during the period na, and was committed, allegedly committed, nung period na nasa KBP pa ang membership nila. So, Mr. Chairman, with the KBP, NTC, at saka yung MTRCB, can we get the commitment of MTRCB, KBP, and NTC? Kasi may exigency ito because that will also support and guide this committee with regards to your decision with regards to complaints that was filed. So can you, Mr. Chairman, can we get the commitment of the three agencies na not later than next week? May resolution na ba yan? Then please submit it to the committee.
Mr. Chair,
Chairman.
Sir Chairman.
Yeah, and then, sasagot.
Mr. Chairman may respond. May we be allowed to respond? First, the Honorable Congressman is correct that even with the withdrawal of Swarasug from KBP, the offenses committed while they are a member are still subject to investigation by KBP. As to the commitment, we have a procedure, Your Honors. We have to notify them of the complaint and ask them to respond. I referred the complaint to the Standards Authority this morning when it was received. And if we will follow the procedure, it will take at least 15 days because they have to be notified of the complaint and asked to respond in accordance with the due process procedures we have established.
So your notification is 15 days.
That is
You
for
will be given 15 days to reply.
to reply, Your Honor. That's correct, Your Honor.
Yan ba yung standard nyo?
Yes,
15 days. So, Mr. Chairman, ang ano ko lang dito is, question of exigency kasi yung issue about the complaint at the same time yung resolution ng KBP. Kaya, Mr. Chairman, with this committee, since this is an investigation and aid of legislation, may we direct the NTC, the KBP, Mr. Chairman, to finish it, the resolution with regards to the complaint, not later than next week. Kasi pwede naman yan pagkalan sa sulat, just like yung MTRCB 7, that is Thursday. Di ba? May hearing kayo Thursday. So, Friday, pwede na kayo mag-rule. Then Monday or Tuesday next week, pwede na yan. MTC, kaya ba yan at later than next week? Kasi next week may hearing tayo dito and the resolution with regards to those complaints will be used by this committee to guide us to decide. Though, Mr. Chairman, I do believe that the violation of Section 4, 10, 11, and 12 is already established, but the resolution of the three agencies will guide us and help us to decide. Yes.
If I may, sir. If I may respond, sir. Sir,
MTRB.
we have scheduled the initial hearing, fact-finding hearing. We have summoned the entity concerned to appear before us on Thursday, December 7. And however, after hearing their side, they have the option pursuant to our rules of procedure also to submit position papers. And we can have that countered with our legal team also to submit position papers. We usually give them 5 to 10 days. And after the submission of the last paper document, we have 30 days to decide. So we are bound by those rules also to give them due process so that they will not be railroaded into an action.
Mr. Chairman, since that is the standard of the three agencies, might as well, when we receive those resolution from NTC, KBP, and MTRCB, they will submit it to the committee and we'll just use it during the committee report, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman, we ask the three agencies to submit all those communications and reply to this committee so that also the committee will be that will be used by this committee during the hearing.
We will do that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Balikan ko lang si Miss Badoy. Madam Badoy. Anyway, alam mo naman ako, no, iba yung background ko. And I'm one with you, no? Personally, with the stand to end this internal conflict in this country. Well, in fact, during the budget deliberation of the DND, I manifested sa APRO and then sa plenary for the AFP to focus now on the external concerns. Kaya matapos na natin to. But ang hindi ko lang maintindihan, and you always confirm that this is the official position of the NTF-ELCAC. Ang hindi ko lang maintindihan, for example, siguro sa iba, pwede ko pa maintindihan. But as far as I remember, the issue against my former minority leader, akong sumunod sa kanya as minority leader. And that time, sikat talaga si General Parlade. Tama? Ako, of course, you are now directed by this committee to submit all those documents, no? That indeed, that is the official position and the query also of Congresswoman Kimbo. You have to submit it to prove that indeed, that is the official position of the government, especially the NTF-ELCAC. Now, hindi ko lang maintindihan, a mere co-authorship, for example, of Congressman Abante, the NTF-ELCAC and all those subcommittees will conclude that Congressman Abante indeed cuddled or part or protecting the CPPNP. And I think that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Because, well, in fact, medyo vocal in the House in supporting and defending the budget of all security sectors. Every budget season. Well, in fact, even when I was the minority floor leader. But at one time also, Mr. Chairman, for the record, take the record during 18th Congress, I stood in the plenary and attacked Parlade for the red tagging. My challenge at the time to them is for them to file a case in proper court, not in the media, not in public. And I was not accused of cuddling unless there's a record dun sa NTF-ELCAC, sa ETC, that I am part now of the group or individuals that cuddles the CPP-NP. Ibig sa akin, Mr. Chairman, na I cannot really fathom the decision if that is so, an official position, and I hope we will request, Mr. Chairman, we will request the NTF-ELCAC, the ATC to review that, especially members of the House. Kasi sa totoo lang, may mga resolution dyan na being pushed by Makabayan Black and some of the members of this House of Congress nagko-co-author. Ang dami natin. Diba? That's why, to single out, because that time, Bene Abante is the minority floor leader and Makabayan Black is part of the minority bloc, I think the NTF-ELCAC and the ATC should review their process. Kasi sabi ko nga, if that is so, then I should be my name should be also questioned by the security sector. Because sabi ko nga, at one time I stood in the plenary and questioned the position of the NTF-ELCAC, especially General Parlade during the time. But every budget, and this is on record, every budget, alam naman ng lahat, na I'm very supportive and defending the budget of the security sector, including the NTF-ELCAC. If I am doing that, I will not be tagged, I will not be accused of cuddling, but at one time I also attacked NTF-ELCAC. Mr. Chairman, we rather ask those agencies involved for them to explain at the same time, to review, especially not only members of Congress. Okay lang to ngayon because Bene Abante represent District of Manila. Bene Abante is a bishop. Bene Abante can speak because he is a congressman. But how about those individuals being accused of cuddling, being accused of supporting just a mere statement? So again, I would just like to clear it out that I have nothing against the whole of nation approach of the administration, even the previous administration. But what I cannot accept is to accuse members of this House that supporting cuddling, whatever accusations, because just a mere co-authorship to the bill being filed by the Makabayan Black. Thank you. Thank you,
Honorable
Chairman.
Paduano, the
Mr. Chair.
Honorable
Mr.
Benny Abante, who was mentioned, and the Honorable J.J. Suarez.
Just a point of clarification,
Okay, ko muna.
if I may, Kong Ben.
Okay, he will yield, the Honorable
Yeah.
Suarez.
Just addressed to Congressman, to Dr. Badoy. Dr. Badoy, your passion against the CPP-NPA is based on ideology.
Honestly, it's based on most likely being a mother.
Okay, but
That's the center part of it, but a human being, I guess. No? To
yes,
see
but
the
other than
sufferings
that,
of our people.
I'm sure following your prinsipyo, yung ideolohiya din ay hindi mo kaisa yung iniisip at ipinaglalaban.
Mr. Chair, hindi po ideolohiya ang tawag doon, kung hindi lang yung malalim na lungkot na ganito yung nangyari sa mga anak natin.
Okay. Okay, so understood. So, and your sentiments, is it also shared by SMNI? Or is this solely your position only?
Mr.
Maybe
Chair,
I can ask
okay.
Congressman tuloy, Attorney Mark Tolentino.
Attorney Tolentino.
Per our disclaimer,
Hindi,
Mr. Chairman,
yung overall position lang na
the position of
laban kayo sa
SMNI,
CPP and PIE.
the position of SMNI, Mr. Chair, is nation building. So it's a
Okay.
general statement, Mr. Chair. Of course, that includes anti-terrorism, anti-NPA, Mr. Chair.
So anti-communism din.
Yes, yes. But of course, the general stand of SMNI is nation building.
So anti-communism din. So ba't kayo nakipag-partner sa Chinese Government Network TV? Communism yun.
Mr. Chair,
May I answer? Mr. Chair, could I?
No, I think,
Ay,
no, that's addressed to that lawyer.
Can you just, I'm just trying to find the connection.
there is no partnership yet, Mr. Chair.
You're against communism, you're espousing democracy, nation building, dapat ubusin tong mga komunista. And yet, on the other hand, nakipag-partner naman yung foundation ninyo at saka yung network ninyo with the Chinese government-owned controlled network, which is communist. So how do you connect those,
Mr. Chair,
reconcile those points?
there is no partnership yet, Mr. Chair. So it's still on the process of negotiation. And if there is partnership, of course, we're respecting our stand, Mr. Chair.
Yes, understood. Kaso lang, tumatanggap na yung foundation ninyo ng mga benefits mula sa China. It's on your website. I mean, it's for everybody's consumption. You know,
I
I'm
think
not
that is-
making this up.
That is in the during calamities, Mr. Chair.
Ito, SMNI Foundation Incorporated at Chinese Embassy. Nagpapatayo ng mga basketball court. So,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
yes. So, I mean,
But it
no,
doesn't mean that we are against the Chinese style of the communism, Mr. Chair.
no, anyway, I just wanted to put that on the record kasi, you know, it's something that I guess we need to put in our minds, Congressman Benny Abante, kasi yung incongruence of a lot of things that is happening within SMNI when it comes to the fake news, when it comes to the information, when it comes to documents that are being presented. So maraming incongruencies. And it seems that is what's common. So yes, Congressman.
The Honorable, thank you very much, Honorable J.J. Suarez, the Honorable Benny Abante.
I'd like to manifest, Mr. Chair, and to inform Madam Badoy, being a bishop of the Baptist denomination, we've always believed in Romans 13. The powers that be are ordained of God. And because of that, I have fully supported the previous administration as I am supporting now the present administration. And for you to accuse me of cuddling the communists is a big lie, a big, big lie. Just to inform you, just to inform you so that you'll be able to know. Now, I have some questions to the SMNI officers, please. What is the process used by the SMNI when an anchor uses information from a confidential source?
Mr. Chair, we have a grievance committee, Mr. Chair.
Have your anchors actually passed through a grievance committee?
Actually, not complaining. It's not a complaint, it's not a grievance. It's a source, they make an accusation.
So we have an edit.
What is the process when an anchor uses information from the Congressman Benny? From where? From the CP?
Yes, when the anchor uses information from a confidential source.
From a confidential source, okay.
We respect the opinions of all our anchors, Mr. Chair. So that's why we have a disclaimer about their statement, their opinions. That is not necessarily the opinion of SMNI.
Mr. Did you ever think, for example, that what your anchors are actually saying are false and fake news? Should it not be that whenever there's an anchor that make a statement against an official of the land or any private person, that automatically you have some processes that you do to be able to check that?
Mr. Chair, we believe under the principle of freedom of press, Mr. Chair, that in case there's inaccuracy, minor inaccuracy, it's still covered under freedom of press, Mr. Chair.
What is that again, please, Mr. Chair?
Freedom
Freedom
of press,
of what?
freedom of press, freedom of expression, Mr. Chair, includes certain inaccuracy in the opinions of our anchors, Mr. Chair.
So you mean, Mr. Chair, that fake news is a freedom of information?
Mr. Chair, under the law, there is no such thing as fake news, Mr. Chair.
I'm not a lawyer, but I disagree with your point. Perhaps you are a very good lawyer and you have surpassed your knowledge of law.
May I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Bakit po meron libel?
Libel, Mr. Chair. So in libel, is different from fake news, Mr. Chair.
No. You throw fake news, you accuse a person, they sue you for libel, you're punished.
So that's
If there's no,
libel.
so there is a law against fake news.
Yes, Mr. Chair, in relation to libel, Mr. Chair. But there's no such thing as fake news under the definition of a law, Mr. Chair.
So if nothing wrong with fake news, then how can the court rule it is libelous?
We follow under the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court, Mr. Chair, with respect to freedom of press and freedom of expression, especially to any statement made by public officials in relation to public concern, Mr. Chair. And we also believe that public officials should not be onion skinned, and that is our stand as a network, Mr. Chair.
Yes, the Honorable Gutierrez.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I think it's an inverted interpretation. The
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Gutierrez.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just a very short interjection because I take exception to that statement. I think we're being too technical here, no? Nahihingi pa yung abogado ng definition ng fake news. How about some common sense? Mr. Chair, most respectfully, sa franchise sila, dissemination of deliberately false information. How about that? Yun na lang gamitin natin. Let's not go around using definitions like this. Most respectfully, Mr. Chair.
Can I respond, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Under the franchise, Mr. Chair, it says deliberate false information. I'm not saying deliberate false information. I'm saying certain inaccuracy in the information. Sometimes the anchors are not perfect to say all the accurate things. So that's why we believe that certain inaccuracy is still covered under the freedom of press and freedom of expression.
Mr. Chair, may I say something?
Mr. Chair, is there not false information when there is inaccuracy of information?
Mr. Chair, we are just citing.
Enlighten me. You are a very good lawyer. You tell me about that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are just citing. This is not my opinion, Mr. Chair. We are just citing the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court, Mr. Chair, about certain inaccuracy and still covered under freedom of press as long as there is no malice or there is no bad faith, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I say something?
Isn't saying that is calling the communists, isn't that to malign?
Mr. Chair,
Isn't
may I-
that an intent to malign a person? And
That's why, Mr. Chair, in case it is libelous, the good Congressman of Manila can file a case for libel against the anchor, not to cancel the franchise of SMNI.
Mr.
Mr.
Chair,
Chair,
perhaps the only reasoning he has is that I have not filed any case. That's it. I have not filed any case because of this, he would think that what Madam Badoy said is not malicious or is not maligning. I did not file any case against Madam Badoy because I'm a good person than her. I am very forgiving and I am very forbearing.
Mr. Chair,
Oh.
may I
I
respond?
I have another question. No? Your process, I think that what you did not answer me completely. When I asked the question, what is the process used by the SMNI when an anchor uses information from a confidential source? You did not directly answer me completely on that, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, under the SMNI procedure, Mr. Chair, we have a executive producer. We also have a deputy producer, a researcher doing that, Mr. Chair, every program.
these are employees of SMNI.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So you
Mr.
have control of this.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, is the name of the source shared by the anchor with producers for betting?
Not necessarily, Mr. Chair.
Not necessarily.
Yes, because we respect the SOTO law, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Now, next question is this, Mr. Chair.
Ayan na naman tayo, SOTO na, linaw na yun ang nakaraan ng turne, kaninang umaga, SOTO ka na naman ng SOTO. Noong pinasa natin yung SOTO, ang linaw doon. Yung exception ng Congress, at saka nung proper court. I believe, Mr. Chair, that there's an exception. The exception if it involves national security, Mr. Chair. Na-accusation ni Ms. Badoy, sa kay Speaker, yung source from Congress is not a problem of interest of state? Mr. Chair, if I may. Hindi, tanong kita, Mr. Chair. Matanong kita, yung 1.8 na accusation ni Ms. Badoy at saka ni Eric, yung accusation dito involving the name of a certain employee in the Senate in which ayaw na divulge ni Eric, it's not a question of the interest of the state. Ang question is Senate at the House. Our stand of that, Mr. Chair, is that Mr. Celis is not making any statement. Still, he's just asking question, Mr. Chair. That is the stand of SMNI, Mr. Chair. Balik na naman tayo doon.
Alam nyo,
Balik na naman tayo doon.
yes, Congressman Paduano, alam po nyo, mahaba ng pinag-usapan yan. At yung sinasabi nga kanina ni Congressman Toby Tiangco na paano ko magtatanong, hindi mo masabi sa amin sino kausap mo. Eh alam po ninyo, puno na sabi ni Congressman Tiangco, ano po ang tawag sa isang taong nagtatanong pero wala naman siyang kausap. So, di ba, parang medyo, hindi ko alam kung ang tawag doon. Baka may konting diferensya. I respect the opinion of the good congressman from Congressman Tiangco, Mr. Chair. But still, we have our own opinion about that, Mr. Chair. But if you keep on insisting, because alam po ninyo, we're talking of Section 4 here. We're talking of Section 10 and Section 11. 10, 11 has been established. Section 4 is very, you're trying to, alam po ninyo, if you keep on going there, alam ko naman na, you're trying to get out of Section 4 at hindi mo pwedeng mawala ng saysay ang Section 4 dahil ito po ay parte ng inyong prangkisa.
Yes,
So, klaro ko
Mr.
lang
Chair.
kay Mr. Rain at saka kay Eric, sinabi ko na po last week to, hindi naman po kayo ang unay na, ang pinag-usapan po rito ay yung prangkisa. Ang pinag-usapan po rito, meron bang violation? Okay? Yan ang pinag-uusapan ho dito. Dahil ito yung sa committee ng legislative franchise. Kung meron o wala. Yun lang ho. Mabuti ho, klaro ho tayo. Kasi pag lumihiso tayo, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. medyo mahaba ho tayo at that's very debatable because unprotected speech cannot be part of freedom of expression. There's jurisprudence to that.
Yes, we believe that.
You
Mr.
agree
Chair.
that? You would agree. So yun, so you cannot just character assassinate without verifying and making sure. Kasi meron pong karangalan, may pangalan ho yung taong yan. Then in the reverse, I'm sure you will also feel bad. No?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
May I
And you
continue,
will
Mr. Chair?
you will also say that it's not anymore freedom of expression because now you're maligning somebody. So
May
the
I
honorable,
continue?
the honorable Benny Abante, you have
Okay,
the floor.
let me ask. Does SMNI have an ombudsman or an officer who acts on complaints regarding the accuracy of his report or the statement of the anchors?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We have a grievance committee, Mr. Chair.
What does the grievance committee do when Madam Badoy began to malign me and told me I was a coddler, that Pastor Kibuloy took it and began to attack me?
Mr. Chair,
Where is the grievance committee there? Mr. Chair,
with respect to the one,
where is your grievance committee there?
Mr. Chair, with respect to the 1 billion, Mr. Chair, yes, there is a grievance committee, but with respect to the complaint of Congressman Abante, Mr. Chair, because there was no official complaint in our grievance committee, so there was no action for that, Mr. Chair.
The grievance committee would only kick in pag ito po ay may reklamo,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
di ba? Kung walang reklamo, who will now, I mean, you have the franchise. Mr. Rain does not own the franchise. Ka Eric doesn't own the franchise. It is your company, the company that you represent.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Isn't it your job to make sure that it's done correctly? And don't we have the responsibility to, I think, ilan po yung sa opening statement po na pakinggan nyo po yung last week. Sinabi ko naman po na ginagawa rin po namin to para ang mga protektahan din natin ang media, no? Ang
Thank you for
lahat
that, Mr.
ng
Chair.
iba't ibang sektor. Pag nawalan ho ng credibility yan, sino mo maniniwala? No? So I think that's very careful. I think that's yun ang pinaglaban ng isang media practitioner that happened to be a congressman, the Honorable Benny Abante.
I cannot explain that in details, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I just would like to follow up the question, no? Meron na ba kayong dinisiplina? Meron na ba kayong disiplinang host or writers for inaccurate, you said kanina, inaccurate, for inaccurate reports? Meron na ba kayong disiplina?
We believe, Mr. Chair, with respect to the grievance committee, they're absolutely confidential. So I cannot reveal in details.
My goodness, this is a committee hearing and we would like to find out the truth.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but
Why would you be here and tell us about confidential? Meron ba o wala?
Yes, Mr.
Meron
Chair,
na ba
yes.
kayong disiplina?
yes, Mr. Chair.
Ilan?
I have no personal knowledge to the number, Mr. Chair, but I'm sure that there is.
Well, let me ask, Madam Badoy, are you a black timer in SMNI?
I'm a co-producer po, Mr.
Co-producer.
Co-producer, yes, sir.
Are you
Yes.
paying your program?
Am I paying,
Are you paying or not?
am I paying? No, I'm not.
Who's paying it?
Actually,
So you're doing it for free?
Can I explain that, Mr. Chair?
Therefore, Mr. Chair, if he is not a black timer, a producer, and not paying it, therefore it is the SMNI that's anchoring.
Mr. Chair, can I explain, Mr. Chair?
Right. So your statement is it is station produced. It is station produced, ergo it is SMNI. Salamat.
Actually, Mr. Chair, it's not station produced, it is co-produced.
Okay. How can it be co-produced?
When
Lahat
say
ko, sagot nyo.
when
Hindi
say-
nagpapasweldo.
Co-produced between whom? Sino yung parties involved dun sa production?
The SMNI and the co-host, the hosts are also considered as producers of
So
the.
silang dalawa,
Yes,
yung
Mr.
dalawang
Chair.
entity.
Yes,
But
Mr.
yung
Chair.
dalawang entity na yon, si Dr. Badoy at saka si Celis, ay parehas na na binabayarang talent ng SMNI.
Yes, talent, Mr. Chair, but not employees.
Correct.
Mr. Chair,
So,
Mr. Chair, may I be allowed to clarify something?
Saan po pumapasok ang co-production kung
Kasi-
sagot yung airtime,
Oh, Mr.
sagot yung sweldo, sagot yung camera, sagot yung ilaw, sagot yung kuryente? Saan po pumapasok ang co-production dyan?
We can submit, Mr. Chair, the co-production agreement between
No, I'm
SMNI.
asking you a question now. You know everything about television. We were a producer.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And we were a black timer of Channel 9.
Yeah, yes, sir.
A co-production is either you pay airtime or you share on the revenue, libre ang talent, libre, ang camera, sayo, ang ilaw, sayo, ang pagkain ng mga guests mo, sayo. Dito, lahat sagot nyo, pero ang tawag nyo, co-production.
Co-production, Mr. Chair, the SMNI give them talent fee, 100,000 each. And second, Mr. Chair, with respect to the income of the revenue of the program, 25% goes to Mr. Celis, 25% goes to Dr. Badoy,
And
the 50% goes to SMNI.
and
You're saying there's revenue entering SMNI on the show.
yes, on revenue.
Revenue, Mr. Chair.
Yes. So you're saying may pera pumapasok. Paano pumapasok yung pera sa show?
Advertisement, Mr. Chair, if there is.
So may mga advertisers, may mga ads na lumalabas.
There are minimal, there are
Konti.
few, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Who are these companies that are advertising in your show?
We will submit that, Mr. Chair. I cannot memorize all
The
the
host
names.
is here. The host is here. Just tell me who.
Mr.
In
Ray,
your show, who?
Mr.
Tell
Ray.
me.
Hindi ko alam.
You are,
Memorize. And
Mr.
Mr. Chair, Mr.
you
Chair,
are, you're under oath,
yes,
Mr.
Mr.
Ray,
Chair.
So
Yeah.
tell me who are advertising in your show.
Honestly, I don't remember the names. There's a gasoline
look,
ano
station.
pangalan ng
Mr.
produkto?
Chair, Mr. Chair.
Gasoline.
Just to put it
Gasoline
in
station.
perspective.
It's a gasoline
You've been
station,
doing
Mr.
the
Chair.
show for 3 years, Monday to Friday, 1 hour and a half every day. Ang sabi nyo, attorney, merong advertisers, kumikita. 25%, 25%, 50% sa SMNI. Simple lang yung tanong ko. Hindi nyo pwedeng hindi alam kasi kayo nag-host eh.
Mr.
Pwede ba
Chair,
naman yun?
Mr. Chair, could I respond?
Yes.
Okay, so, honest answer here is because we're so, this work, as you can imagine, is very intense.
Mr.
diba?
Chair,
So,
Mr.
what
Chair,
we do
just a moment. Mr. Chair, may
Yes.
check.
Yeah.
So you're being honest now. Kanina hindi ka honest.
No, could I also respond to that?
Yes.
No,
Could I
no, no, no,
kindly
no, no.
respond to
Mr.
that?
Chair, I just have, it was a question similar to Mr. Celis kanina. I just need a name.
Kilala nyo mga.
I asked for the source, ayaw niyong ibigay. Ngayon, ito simple lang. Sino yung mga nag-a-advertise sa show ninyo?
Kilala mo.
Okay, there's, Mr. Chair, there's e-fuel. What else?
Mr. Chairman,
Anong
Mr.
pangalan
Chair,
po? Anong
kasi sa
pangalan?
totoo lang, ang konti talaga ng sponsors dyan. Because the anti-CPP work is not sexy. Nobody wants to touch it.
Chairman,
So kami lang talaga dyan, Mr. Chair.
Chairman,
No.
all,
So-
Chairman.
Sila lang po kung Paduano, para maayos po tayo.
Teka lang.
The
Yes.
Honorable JJ.
Hindi, I'm still at my point, Mr. Chair, doon sa binanggit ni Attorney Tolentino. So please, enumerate.
per my information, Mr. Chair, of the staff of...
Attorney Tolentino, I think the question is directed to Dr. Badoy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, ang pagkakaalala ko, e-fuel, and then there's this food cart. Because honestly, ang toka namin sa show na ito is the creative license, everything, that's the concept, what goes into it, the content. So we're consumed by that. So I honestly don't really look at the sponsors too much. I just don't.
Yes, I'll beg to the chairman, then I'll go
Yes.
back, Mr. Chair.
Alam po ninyo, tanong ko lang po di ba meron po kayong porsyento dito sa revenue sharing? Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Hindi ba kung kayo ay may revenue, dapat alam nyo kung saan ang source ng revenue? Alam nyo kung sino ang mga sponsor ninyo? Para alam nyo na tama yung 25% na makukuha nyo as stated by the Attorney Tolentino?
May I answer, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
Yes.
yes or no muna?
Could you repeat it
Hindi
again?
ba dapat alam nyo kung sino ang mga sponsors nyo? Dahil may porsyento po kayo, may revenue sharing kayo as manifested by the Attorney Tolentino. Na may 25% ka, may 25% si Ka Eric. Hindi pa responsibilidad nyo na sino ang mga sponsor na to?
Mr. Chair, I honestly don't care about the money. That's the truth. Gusto ko lang tapusin ito. Pwede ko bang mag-respond dun sa sinabi ni
Ano pong tatapusin ho ninyo?
yung CPP, NPA, NDF, sir? Chair, Mr. Chair. Yun nga, Chair, Mr. Chair.
Alam po nyo, hindi ho natin pwedeng kasi that's where Congressman JJ is coming from.
Mm.
You have a share. Ergo, you should know who your sponsors are. So you cannot hide on another issue. Huwag mo natin pag-usapan. Napag-usapan na po yan kanina eh. Ngayon, it's either walang sponsor or
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Mr. Chair.
kasi
Mr. Chair, may I
or
clarify?
meron
Kasi
po
I
kayong
think this,
magtatanong because tinatanong ko si si ikaw, Congressman Benny, meron kang radio station. Alam mo mga sponsor mo. Di ba? Kasi kung konti lang yun, sabi nyo konti lang sila. Eh di mas madaling tandaan kung konti eh. Kesa marami.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Okay, so honestly, I didn't know that you were gonna ask. So hindi pumasok sa isip ko kaagad. But now thinking about it, listening to you, it's e-fuel and some food carts. I don't remember the names. And Galileo water, something like that.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chair.
Tatlong produkto. Meron pa po? Nalala nyo?
Iba-iba. Minsan nga wala. Minsan meron, minsan ganon.
Hindi nyo po binabanggit sa show niyan? Thank you to the sponsor. Thank you to the sponsor. Di ba binabanggit niyan?
No, Mr. Chair, we don't.
Wala kayong
Kaya nga,
pangitan na
hindi ko nga
ganyan.
siya alam, Mr. Chair.
Salamat.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Kasi sa
JJ has a floor first.
Okay.
Dito po, Pongdan.
So, Attorney Tolentino,
Yes,
sabi
Mr.
niyo
Chair.
may income sharing kayo.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So, do you also concur with the statements of Dr. Badoy na ito yung mga kumpanyang nagsiserve as advertisers doon sa programa?
Based on my information, Mr. Chair, with the SMNI team, the show has no advertisers. But in case there's advertisers, Mr. Chair, that is the share. 50% SMNI.
No.
25%.
Okay, wait. Para lang. You're saying na walang advertisers?
As of today, Mr. Chair, none, Mr. Chair.
Ano yung sinabi ni Attorney Badoy na e-fuel, food cart,
it's not
Galileo water, ano
Mr. Chair.
yun?
Mr. Chair.
It is an advertisers, not of Laban Kasama ng Bayan, but it is an advertiser of a program prior to that program, Mr. Chair.
No.
Are
Mr.
lying.
Chair,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair.
I think these people are lying. Why?
Here we are
Mr.
again,
Chairman. I think these
being
people,
confused with information and hiding of the truth.
yes.
Kanina may nakatempt na tayo na isa, tapos nandito na naman tayo eh.
Alam nyo,
No.
Mr. Chairman, dito po sa breakdown ng revenue nila, lumalabas dito na yung pong revenue nun, yung galing lamang po sa mga radio station nyo. Walang lumalabas sa revenue na nanggagaling po doon sa show ninyo. And I think you are lying dahil dito po naka-breakdown po ang revenue. Itong istasyon ang kumita ng 105 million ng 2022. Kumita ng 2021 ng 41.8. Kanina sabi ni attorney, wala daw advertisement and promotion. Dito sa advertising and promotion nyo, 12 million ang ginastos nyo ng 2022. At noong 2021, binload nyo nga 810,000 lamang. Tapos ng 2022 is 12 million. In other words, Mr. Chairman, clearly, nagsisinungaling kayo, Ma'am Badoy. Dahil sinasabi nyo, kumikita kayo sa pagiging co-producer, pero hindi nakalista po sa breakdown ng inyong mga revenue. So how can you explain that the one that you have submitted in this company, hindi kasama yung revenue ninyo bilang producer? How can you explain that?
May I, Mr. Chair?
yes,
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I just put this on the record? We've already cited an individual in contempt earlier for failing to provide the information that the committee requires. To SMNI right now, again, very, very, very thin ice. Both of you magkatabi kayo. Sinabi mo, abogado mo to. Kayo magkatabi, hindi pa kayo magkasundo kung ano ba talaga yung totoo. Sabi mo, may 3 nag-a-advertise. Sabi ng katabi mo, wala. Paano namin kayo paniniwalaan? Magkatabi na nga kayo. Tapos sinabi pa ni Congressman Dan Fernandez dito, na
Report
naman
to
po
eh.
yun.
Please refrain from lying kasi we will be citing you for contempt. Kasi nakalagay po sa revenue, submitted nyo, 4 na taon kayo nagsasubmit dito. Ito, this will not lie. I can give you this. Dahil revenue na sinasabi nyo po, na andito lahat, breakdown. From income tax, from yung inyo pong mga losses, saka yung inyo pong tinatawag na mga expenses, and the revenues. So, wala po nakita na binabanggit nyo kanina na meron kayong kinita, na dineklara nyo rin dito. In other words, you are lying. And if you are lying in this committee, aba.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Any?
Mr. Chair, may I
I
respond?
move to declare Madam Badoy in contempt.
I second.
There's a motion. Duly seconded by the Honorable Akop on a motion of the Honorable Benny Abante.
Pwede po bang magsalita, Mr. Chair?
Yes. The
Mr. Chair.
Honorable, there's a second. The chair hearing no objections. May we know from the Honorable Abante let us be specific on the specific ground that you are going to cite them in contempt. Section 11.
Section 11, H, you know, and, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Section 11, contempt, refusal to answer an irrelevant inquiry. Yeah, acting in a disrespectful manner because she was found lying, Mr. Chair. That would be my reason to make a motion to declare her in contempt.
Mr. Chair, may I respond? Okay.
And I will ask you to respond.
Okay,
later on.
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Because there's a pending motion on the floor, okay?
Okay.
There's a motion by the Honorable Benny Abante, seconded by the Honorable Akop. The chair in objection, the motion is approved. The second motion. Motion to 10. Motion to 10. We will,
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I know. Mr. Chairman, I may respectfully move that we will detain Madam Badoy until the committee report of this investigation will be adopted in the plenary, Mr. Chairman. So move.
who seconded the motion of the Honorable Akop? The chair in objection, the motion to detain is hereby approved. Yes, please.
Mr. Chair, like I told you earlier, this was the place where I grew up in. Dito ako naglaro when my father was in Congress. And I'm deeply saddened by what I've seen today. No, but I respect the committee because this is how I was brought up by my father, to be honorable. and to have my fullest trust pa rin in the institution. Hindi natitinag yan,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you. May tanong na po ko.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
He was part of which Congress? What's the name of your father?
Anacleto Badoy Jr.
In what Congress was he part of?
I don't know, Mr. Chair. That was in the 70s, late 70s and early 80s.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So,
May I please?
Just a follow-up lang. Ito naman, please, pakiusap lang, just for once. Can we at least hang on to the truth? You know, it's been so difficult throughout the whole afternoon to get it. You know, you have documents that are conflicting, statements that are incongruent. Attorney Mark Tolentino, can you please submit to the committee copies of your advertising contracts?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
All the programs, Mr. Chair, or only the Laban Kasamang Bayan?
Mr. Chair, hindi pa ako tapos. May I please speak, Mr.
Okay.
Chair?
And revenue sharing with your co-producers.
May I know, Mr. Chair, if it's only limited to Laban Kasamang Bayan or all the
Hindi.
programs, Mr. Chair?
All of it, submit nyo na lahat.
Okay, Mr. Chair.
Thank
So,
you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add also that the lawyer would submit to us the process on how you discipline with the anchors and the hosts that you have.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Can we give us, please give us, Mr. Chair, 1 week to prepare all
And
these
other than that,
documents?
Mr. Chair, in connection dun sa request ni Kong Benny, may we also subpoena yung disciplinary actions na ginawa ninyo, investigations, di ba? Meron sinabi silang ginagawang investigations internal.
Yes, Mr.
Kasi
Chair.
lang hindi nyo masabi kung ilan na yung napatawan nyo ng disciplinary actions at kung anong penalty ang inimpose sa kanila. Pwede nyo ba bigyan din kami ng kopya nun?
Yes, Mr. Chair. That's
Thank
why we're asking, Mr.
so
Chair,
much.
1 week, Mr. Chair, to comply all those documents.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, to establish
Honorable
some
Bench.
pertinent evidence, Mr. Chair, I just would like to make a manifestation here that because Madam Badoy has admitted that she is not a black timer and that she is not paying any dues to the SMI, therefore, she is part of the company, Mr. Chair.
Sergeant of Arms to please implement to take custody of Miss Badoy as directed by this committee. Thank
May I finish my statement, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Meron pong Rumi na quote, yung poet na Ruby. Wherever you stand, be the soul of that place. And I'm really sad that this has happened to our Congress. I didn't see this when my father was growing up. This was the place where we could stand on our shared ground of love for country. And what I witnessed right now was a travesty.
Thank
And
you
I'm
very
very
much.
sad for my country.
Mr.
The
Chair,
Honorable Ako.
I'm sorry for what happened to you, Madam Badoy. But you do not have a monopoly of love of country.
I didn't see.
I've spent my life fighting for this country. Oh, so you do not have to tell me that. Mas marami akong sinugal kaysa sa iyo. So do not give me that crap, Madam Badoy.
Thank you very much.
Kasi I have laid down my life
Protect me.
very often just to protect this country. And if ever I'm going to be called again, I'll do it. Not the way you want it, but the way it is authorized by the government. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, also I would like to make a manifestation that I do not know how old were you, Madam Badoy, when I was fighting the NPAs. 1986. This government almost lost to the NPAs. I was there fighting the NPAs. I do not know where were you at the time. So please, do not make a monopoly of the love of country. All of the congressmen here love our countries. That's why we're here. We're not just politicians. We are people that love our own nation. That's why we're serving our nation. So please do not make that statement. To me, it is still a lie, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Sergeant of Arms, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Lorraine. So
Mr. Chair.
now we have you will have to put her in the same place where Ka Eric is, no? I mean, in the same area, in the premises of the House of Representatives. That's what I meant. Okay. So now we have the Honorable.
May I move for adjournment, sir?
No. There are other speakers.
Meron pa ba? I'm sorry. Okay, I thought we're done. I withdraw my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
The Honorable.
gusto
Mr. Chair,
niya yung ito yung
Mr. Chair.
relationship niya kay Atty.
Mr.
Suplico.
Oo nga.
I'd just like to
By
ask,
the way,
Mr.
where's
Chair.
Attorney Suplico? I heard this.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask Congressman Dan,
Okay.
where is he going? Because Attorney Suplico is no longer here.
Mr.
Let's
Chair,
proceed. Okay.
Mr. Chair,
The Honorable Kimbo, then the Honorable Gutierrez.
Mr. Chair, my co-counsel, Mr. Chair, Attorney Rolex Suplico is the clinic.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, so we take note of that. So
High blood.
we hope he will feel better in a bit. Yes. The Congresswoman Kimbo, you were raising your hands. Then
Well,
we'll ask the Honorable Gutierrez.
Yes,
Time.
okay, Mr. Chair. Sige, magtatanong na po ako bago sila maubos.
Ako lang naiwan, Mr. Chair.
The last man standing.
The last man standing.
Well, actually, this is really a question on behalf of Kong Joboy. Nainip na po siya, pero pinagbili niya talaga sa akin ng mabuti na talagang kailangan ko daw itong itanong. Okay, so anyway, kanina po, kung naalala po natin, paulit-ulit po in defense of yung pong alleged violation doon po sa Section 11 on the dispersal of ownership, doon po sa failure to comply with a 30% offer, public offer of their outstanding shares. Lagi pong ini-invoke as a defense yung failure daw ng Congress na sagutin ang kanilang sulat dated June 30, 2022. So, ang pinapatanong po ni Kong Joboy Aquino, simple lamang po. Nung sa inyong pananaw, nagsulat kayo sa Kongreso, June 30, 2022. Ngayon po ay December 5. Hindi pa kayo sinasagot sa inyong pananaw. Anong ginawa nyo? Kayo ba'y nag-follow up? Nagsulat ulit? Anong ginawa nyo?
Per my information, Mr. Chair, we are waiting. But still, Mr. Chair, because we believe, Mr. Chair, that there is no timeline for that, Mr. Chair. But that's why I'd like to ask for an apology for that, Mr. Chair, and give us time to comply all the requirements, if we may, Mr. Chair.
So maliwanag, Mr. Chair, na walang ginawa ang SMNI doon po sa sinasabi po nilang hindi pagsagot ng Kongreso. At nandun na rin po tayo doon sa sulat na yan, June 30, 2022. And Mr. Chair, medyo na-disturb po ako dito sa sulat na to because they made it clear. One of their statements in this letter has to do with the purpose of the company. Ang sabi po nila, Mr. Chair, that these are the main priorities of the company. Number one, to serve and to continue to serve the Filipino people, bringing only balanced and fair news through objective and candid reporting in a mix of news and public affairs programs to enrich the discussion for social inclusiveness among the citizenry. Number two, to reach and preach for the goodwill of all and the propagation of faith, as well as religiosity and faith to deepen the faithful's relationship with our Creator. So yun po ang sinasabi po nilang dalawang layunin po ng kumpanya. And therefore, ang sabi po nila, the main goals of the company are not profit-driven. Nililiwanag po nila, hindi po sila profit-driven.
Yes,
So
Mr.
ito po ang aking simpleng tanong. So you confirm that,
Yes, Mr.
Attorney?
Chair,
Okay.
but the one who wrote that letter is
So-
not me,
No,
Mr.
simple
President.
lang. You confirm that, not
Mr. Chair.
profit-driven. So ito ang aking simpleng tanong. Bakit po kayo nag-apply para sa isang commercial franchise? Dito po sa Section 1 ng inyong prangkisa, nakasulat po, nature and scope of franchise. To construct, install, establish, operate, and maintain for commercial purposes. Klaro po, it's for purposes of making profit. Bakit? Meron kasi tayong another category of franchises, non-commercial. Meron po distinct category na ina-applyan po tulad ng mga state universities and colleges na talagang hindi naman po profit-driven at yun po ang ina-applyan nila kapag hindi po for profit ang kanilang operations. Kaya
Yes, Mr. Chair.
aking tanong, hindi po kayo, bakit man po mali ang inyong ina-applyan na prangkisa?
Mr. Chair, the best person to answer that, Mr. Chair, is the president of the company. So, yes, Mr. Chair.
Yun po ang isasagot sa akin ng presidente, hindi po ako abogado. Kaya, ikaw na lang po. Ang ending po, kayo din naman po.
I'm the last man standing here, so I'll try to answer it, Mr. Chair. Based on my personal knowledge, Mr. Chair. Yes, it is not, the SMNI is not, it's not a focus on profit, Mr. Chair. So that is my knowledge and information about SMNI. That's why if you check, you compare that to the other company, other broadcast company, there are a lot of advertisers in that company. Unlike in SMNI, if there's only one or two per program, Mr. Chair, and very minimal payment, compare that to the other broadcast establishments, Mr. Chair, or TV or radio establishments.
So again, it doesn't really explain. You're explaining that you're not for profit. But then, bakit nga commercial franchise ang in-applyan nyo? And what is your take on, baka nga mali yung prangkisa? Diba?
Nating amendahan.
That's why, Mr. Chair, with respect to the profits, the income, and the financial statement of the company, may I request, Mr. Chair, for our next meeting, Mr. Chair, we will bring with me the external auditor and the internal auditor of the company, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Chair, follow-up question. Kung hindi kayo profit-oriented, paano ipapaliwanag itong 105 million peso revenues in 2022? May interest income na 35 million.
That time, Mr. Chair, during election season, Mr. Chair. That's why I believe that their income of the company in 2022 during election season.
So again, hindi po pa rin maliwanag doon pa sa sinasabi ninyo, doon sa liham ninyo. Kasi yung participating in partisan activities, kung sinasabi ninyong election, ano po ba yun?
It's not partisan, Mr. Chair, but the advertisers of some politicians, Mr. Chairs.
Okay, sige. Pero again, parang, so, kung pwede po, Mr. Chair, baka hindi tayo matapos sa kakatanong, sa susunod na lang po na hearing, kung pwede po sana ma-invite ang inyong Chief Financial Officer para
Yes.
mas lalo pong mapaliwanag sa amin, and especially dito kay Albert Einstein, Dan Fernandez, sa mga questions po tungkol po dito sa business model, kung ano ba talaga yung how you make money, kung ano po yung paliwanag po dun sa changes in income and expenses over the years.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
At how does it align with your stated objectives, and how is it consistent with the terms of your franchise agreement?
Yes, Mr.
So
Chair.
kung pwede po sana, dalhin po ninyo yung inyong CFO para mapaliwanag po yun.
Yes, because she is the best person to answer all those inquiries, Mr. Chair, about the financial statements of the company.
Yes.
Thank you
and
very
then,
much.
Yun na lang po, in addition to dun sa hiningi po ni Kong Abante, I'm sure meron po kayong manual of operations. Kasi ang hinihingi po ni Kong Abante earlier is yung paliwanag po dun sa paano ninyo dinidisiplina ang inyong mga journalists, etc.
We will put that in writing, Mr. Chair.
Yes, pero sigurado ako, meron ba kayong manual of operations?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. So malamang dun sa manual of operations ninyo, siguro naman dyan nakapaloob ang mga journalistic standards, if any, na that you adopt.
Yes,
Diba?
Mr. Chair.
So, yun na lang po ang isubmit ninyo para maging mas maliwanag sa amin kung ano ba talaga itong grievance committee. Sino ba ang miyembro ng grievance committee na yan? Diba? So tuwing kailan ba yan nako-constitute, etc. So, isubmit na lang lahat yon
And-
sa amin para sa susunod na hearing.
Mr. Chair, due to the voluminous request of all those documents, can we request for at least 10 working days to prepare all those documents, Mr. Chair?
10 working days daw, Mr. Chair.
There's a, we will,
No, until the next hearing.
Mr.
na lang.
Mr. Chairman, can we
Rolling na lang.
you have to, but I don't think, 10 days.
1 week, Mr. Chair, 1 week.
Mr. Chairman, we are about to adjourn next week. So can we have some adjustment on the period that was given to them?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. And Chair Gus, ito namang manual of operations, hindi niyo naman isusulat yan from scratch. For
Yes,
sure,
sir.
meron na kayo niyan. Unless wala.
Yan gawa na ho eh. Hindi nyo naman gagawin yan, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Unless hindi nyo, wala kayo, or gagawin nyo pala, pero pag naman lahat naman hinigigawa na yan.
Yeah.
Tapos
Salamat
siguro,
po.
Chair Gus, kung ano yung meron na,
Isubmit
yun na
na.
munang isubmit, tapos word
That-
back na lang.
That's what I said.
Yun na lang po.
That's what I
Thank you.
suggested.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much,
Mr.
Honorable
Chair, tapos po ako. Thank you.
Kimbo. Then the Honorable Richard, the Honorable Gutierrez is recognized.